What is going on, XRP family? How are you? I thought it was important to have a little recap here of an interview that was done with the Ripple CEO. I kind of want to play this for you, and we'll stop it basically throughout, and then we'll break it down a little bit. I'll give you my thoughts.
That's something that you have dealt with a lot of. Maybe not your favorite part. You are currently a part of a lawsuit by the SEC. They sued you. This is old news by now, but they sued you in 2020, alleging that XRP is a security. You have taken the unusual step of fighting back versus going for a settlement. I won't go too much into the play-by-play, but give us an update in terms of where it's happening now. What is happening now? You have said that, or at least your legal counsel has said that they expect a resolution by 2023. Does that still feel like that's the case?
I think that definitely feels like the case. I mean, look, it's incredibly frustrating to be a citizen of a company based in a country that is behind almost every other country in providing clarity around crypto. I mean, even here in Canada, Canada has approved a Bitcoin ETF. The U.S. has not. I think there's so many examples where the U.S. has been out of step with other G20 economies. And again, I'm not talking about random, small countries. I'm talking about like major economies who are providing that clarity and certainty. As you described, the Securities Exchange Commission sued Ripple, saying that our sales of XRP were investment contracts. It's a kind of a nuanced point. And to your point, we fought it. I think it is so important to fight it, not just for Ripple, but for the whole industry. The SEC, I think, is a hammer. And when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And the current chair of the SEC has said he thinks probably everything except for Bitcoin is a security.
And I want to stop it right there. In my prior video, and if you didn't watch it, breakdown of the legal of where we are now, and what I got out of the XRP legal case. You go ahead and watch it. But in the investment contract thing is a big deal, because in order for XRP to be considered a security, you have to have an investment contract. So of which Ripple XRP does not have. But one of the other key factors there, as he was talking about, is how far the United States is behind on cryptocurrency clarity. And clarity does mean regulation. So clarity of cryptocurrencies and how other countries have a lot more clarity in regards to the cryptocurrencies than the United States. So, he's going into that, and then he's also saying, like this is a fight not only for Ripple and XRP, but also for the crypto industry in general. And if you remember, not too long ago, I reviewed the Ethereum debate that's going on right now, where they want to say that they're going to control Ethereum in all transactions on the Ethereum network. So we're the United States government is reaching, and he goes into that.
That's a pretty bold statement. I think it would be very negative for the U.S. crypto industry. And it's the reason why I think a lot of people are moving outside the United States to build and invest in or speculate in various crypto projects.
Do you ever see yourself as a non-U.S. company, right? Like you're hiring a lot outside of the U.S. Do you ever see yourself as a non-U.S. domiciled business?
It should not be lost upon you that Canada is not the U.S. and we're opening a big office here. Look, it's like any...
And that's another key point there, is he's saying that it should not be lost on you that Ripple is opening offices outside of the United States. In Canada, they just opened up a big office in Toronto, and they have a couple offices in a couple other countries. So what he's saying to you basically is, he can see himself as being a non-United States based company based on the regulations and the challenges that Ripple XRP has in the United States
industry. It's like any company. If the country you're based in is making it hard for you to be successful, you go other places. I mean, on a percentage basis, our growth is much more outside the United States than in the United States. 95% of our customers are non-U.S. companies. So, look, we're going to continue to invest where we know what the rules are. Even though there are a lot of libertarian roots around crypto, my experience is most actors in crypto want to play by the rules, but we have to know what the rules are. And at the SEC, going back to one of the things you asked earlier, they have been fighting us on the disclosure of certain documents. So this is an entity, by the way, which keep in mind what the SEC does. They demand disclosure from the companies they regulate, and they won't disclose anything. They had a judge.
And this is when he's starting to talk about the Hinman emails and the fact that 14 months ago, the judge told the SEC to release the Hinman emails to Ripple for their case. And the SEC has put up roadblocks every step of the way. But another judge just recently said that they needed to turn them over. And he goes into a little bit of that right there. Well, he will here in a second. And also, he's talking about investing money in countries where there is clarity and regulation. So, again, he's saying to the United States, let's tie this thing up because, we're investing money elsewhere.
14 months ago, tell them they need to disclose the notes associated with this very famous speech that happened 4 years ago saying that Ether is not a security. What are they hiding?
Yeah.
Like, why, it's been 14 months and they're still fighting to hide those notes.
So walk us back a little bit. Tell us why that particular speech was so significant for you, because you're not Ether, you're XRP. But why does that matter for you?
Well, so I'm Ripple. We use XRP, but look, in June of 2018, a director of corporate finance.
Very important statement in the case that he just made right there, and he clarified it for her that he is Ripple and they just use XRP. That's very important for the case with the SEC, guys. So don't let that fool you. Don't get lost in that. Ripple and XRP are two different companies, and he'll go into a little bit of that.
Finance at the SEC, and Bill Hinman gave a speech that was well known in the crypto industry because it really was the first time the SEC came out and said, Ether's not a security, and the reason it's not a security is because it's decentralized. I viewed that, and actually, now there's an email that the SEC has that I read that, and I sent an email to the team like, this is good news. If you look at that measurement stick, that's clear that XRP is not a security. Like, let's keep building. And, now the SEC is kind of, well, first of all, they no longer will say ETH is not a security. The current chair, you ask him and he won't comment, which I don't know how you have one administration, again, what are the rules? Let's just be clear about the rules. So for Ripple, I think that speech was important. Like the industry, that speech is important. It does go back to Ripple's fighting this fight, not just for Ripple, but because the whole industry needs the certainty. The whole industry needs the clarity. If we want the United States, the largest economy in the world, to be a major player in crypto, we need this clarity and certainty. And so far, I'm very happy with how the court case has gone. Certainly, I wish it would have gone faster, to your point, around 2023. But we are fighting every step to make it go as quickly as possible.
Okay, so I do have a question for the audience. I am curious, and this is tied to.
So there, he's talking about, he's fighting the fight for the crypto industry in general, because we do need clarity in crypto regulation. And I agree with him. We need some clarity so that the SEC, can quit, banging on people's doors. And, obviously they're banging on ETH's door now, along with XRP. So, he gives a really good explanation there.
What we've been talking about in the past 15 minutes. What percent of you, to start off with, well, raise your hand actually, be happening this week, around.
I'm going to skip through a little bit of this.
Don't fit very well. You might argue, Nancy, we did a Series B. Do you get right, title, and interest in the company consent?
Because I think he hits an important piece, and I don't want to keep you guys too long, but I want to get to this piece.
Cryptocurrencies are securities.
Oh, we got a few hands.
There's a few.
Maybe five hands.
Not a lot. Okay, so
let's pause on that just for a second, because I think that's interesting. So to be a security, that means, the way law works, it means you get right, title, and interest of the ownership of the company. So think about that. So if you buy ETH, do you get right, title, and interest in the company consensus? If you buy XRP, do you get to vote on who the board of directors is at Ripple? you and I talked a little bit backstage about this. Ripple did a Series A financing, we did a Series B financing, we did a Series C financing. The board of directors is voted on by our shareholders. XRP holders are not our shareholders. So when I hear people say, well, these are securities, I'm like, well, by kind of the normal legal definitions, they don't fit very well. You might argue there's something new and different. I think it's very clear these are mostly commodities, and I think should be regulated as such.
No.
So that's important. In order for you to be considered a security, you got to have right title and interest. And based on how the structure of most cryptocurrencies are, all cryptocurrencies, and I could be wrong, but I haven't seen a cryptocurrency yet where the shareholders get right title and interest, where they can vote in, vote out board members and things like that. So like he's laying his argument out pretty well, and the cryptocurrency community should take note of this, and also the SEC and everybody else should take note of what he's saying. He wants to play by the rules, but the rules, they're not playing by the rules, and the rules don't fit what the box that the SEC is trying to put them in. So very, very, very well thought out, very well laid out argument.
All right.
So this week is actually going to be it's going to be interesting, right? To your point about the Hinman speech, the documents, there is something maybe happening this week around whether or not those documents will be admitted to court. Can you give us an update on that?
Well, so as I described earlier, 14 months ago, the SEC was ordered to turn over those notes. They then have claimed other, kind of delay. There was a hearing, I think it was last week or the week before, where the judge again listened to the SEC to explain why they shouldn't have to turn those notes over. There should be a ruling imminently, meaning could be today, could be tomorrow, maybe it's next week. You never really know when a judge is going to make a ruling. But this is, again, just on the discovery. But we expect that ruling imminently. And I think it's clear to us that the judge has previously said you have to turn these notes over. We'll see what the judge says this time. It is interesting to me, like the chair of the SEC has said justice delayed is justice denied, yet they are delaying this every single step of the way.
Yeah. So let's play a very dangerous game of what if. What happened? So
I'm glad there's only 2 minutes left.
I know, it's going to have to be a really fast game. Okay, so I'll start with what happens, right, if you do not get a ruling in your favor. XRP is called a security.
In the United States.
You would be out of the United States.
No. I was clarifying your question. The SEC only has jurisdiction in the United States. And in some ways, if you think about how the world is operating right now, it's as if the case has been lost. Other than on Uphold and maybe a few other exceptions, you can't trade XRP in the United States. Coinbase halted trading, others delisted it. So if Ripple loses the case, does anything change? Like, it's basically it's status quo. Ripple is still growing very, very quickly.
Well, there are still people betting that you could win this case.
Well, I think that's
So that's an important thing for people to understand and realize, is that Ripple XRP is still operating and growing in other parts of the country. And the only place that trading of XRP has been halted is in the United States. And the only place that the SEC has jurisdiction over is the United States. So let's say for some reason, crazy reason, that XRP doesn't win this case, then what changes for XRP? Nobody's listing XRP in the United States anyways right now. So what really changes for the token that you hold right now in XRP? Not a lot, because everything just goes on as it goes on right now. So I doubt that they'll lose. I'm with him, but if they do, what really changes for the people that live in the United States?
I'm betting that, just to be clear. And look, I'm betting that not just because of the tone of the questions from the judge and these kind of things. I'm betting that because I think the facts are on our side. I'm betting that because the law is on our side. And I think the SEC has massively overstepped into try to take kind of jurisdictional ownership over something that is I think they saw this gray area. They're like, hey, we're going to go in. But it's frustrating that it's taken this long. There's a lot of companies I think realize how important this case is to the whole industry. So knock on wood, there's some that think we're going to win. I happen to be one of them.
Okay. So, but even if you don't win, it's operation as usual. You're probably just not going to be a very U.S.-centric company. Say you do win, what happens? You've spoken maybe an IPO, right? That might be coming.
Well, the Securities Exchange Commission has to approve an S1 in order for a company to be public. Yeah. And so, trying to go public during that time doesn't make a lot of sense. But Ripple has grown into one of the leading crypto companies out there. I have said publicly before that I didn't think Ripple would be the first public crypto company, nor would be the last. There are a few that have already gone public. There were a couple that were announced as SPACs that have gotten delayed. I don't know the status. But look, I think this industry is maturing and growing. It is here to stay. Even after this massive sell-off, you're talking about $1 trillion global industry. It is a massive industry, and I think it makes sense for companies like Ripple to take advantage of some of the most efficient capital markets in the world.
So that's another important piece that I want to touch on a little bit too. Is there's a long-term plan for Ripple XRP to become an IPO if they win this case. But you notice what he said is the SEC has to approve that. And right now is not a good time, obviously, because they're in a court case with the SEC now to go and try to create an IPO. But if Ripple XRP becomes an IPO, guys, that's a whole nother level for the XRP actual token holders, I believe. And I believe you're gonna see the XRP token go absolutely crazy if that happens.
Okay. Amazing. Awesome. We are now trending upwards. Oh, I believe that means that we are out of time, actually.
So that's basically what I wanted to review with you guys is that little bit of information right there and that little piece of video right there live from the CEO of XRP. It's a couple days old, but it's still fresh and new to me because I have to digest things for a couple days in order to really make sense of them. And what I got out of that and what I think he's saying there is that XRP, he believes that they're going to win. He believes that they're on solid ground. He believes that there's a solid legal argument for XRP to win. And also what he's saying is, it's this case that is going on with the SEC and Ripple right now is bigger than just Ripple. It's the whole crypto industry in general, which I tend to agree with him on. I think if and when Ripple wins this case, that there's going to be some precedent set for cryptocurrency in general. Regulation is coming from the federal government on the regulation of cryptocurrency, but with that, you also have to know that if Ripple loses this case, then precedent is already set. And that precedent is that the SEC has complete control over crypto. So that's what's at stake. And I think that Ripple is the best cryptocurrency right now to fight this case because obviously they have a well-designed legal team with well-designed arguments and well laid out plans, as you can see from how the case is moving forward. So he believes that he's going to win the case, and I do too. And he believes that it's bigger than just Ripple and XRP, and I do too. And if he doesn't win and he doesn't prevail, does that mean that that's the end of Ripple XRP? Absolutely not. Like he said, the majority of his business is outside of the United States. So what does that really change for the token or Ripple itself? Not really much. It really just means that they're going to basically probably shut down operations here in New York in the United States and move the rest of their company to different places, and they just opened up a headquarters in Toronto. So XRP guys is in this fight. I think they're winning this fight, and I think that this thing will be over much like he said in sometime in 2023. I think we'll have a verdict or ruling, and we'll be ready to move on and move forward from this sometime in 2023, but I fully expect XRP to win. And then I expect XRP to go, the token to absolutely go crazy once Ripple wins this case. So with that, guys, I kind of wanted to review a little bit of that with you. I wanted you to hear it right from his mouth. I wanted you to hear what the CEO said and where he's at and what he thinks and how he's moving forward with XRP and Ripple, and what exactly makes a security versus a commodity. You know, that's a conversation that's always in the industry, and he gives you some clear definition. And this is all part of understanding the case, but also educating yourself on what security and a commodity is and what defines them, and all that stuff. So if you want a breakdown of the case, like I said, I did give a breakdown of the submissions, the summary submissions, in another video on my channel. But with that, guys, I just kind of want to give you guys a little breakdown of that interview. And like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it out. I'll try to, keep bringing you XRP content as it comes up, and we're able to have some news for you. So with that, guys, I'll see you guys on the next one, and I'm out.